Hi everybody. This week Dr. D and I are trying to send you out videos that will help you address and make your immune system as strong as it can be. Because in this period of time during the pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic, we need our immune systems to be robust. We want our immune system ready to deal with any infection and not be so tied up with non-purposeful inflammation that it doesn't have time to take care of the virus if we were to be exposed to it. So our goal in these videos is to eliminate sources of non-purposeful inflammation that's being destructive to our immune system. So Dr. D is talking about diet and exercise, and I am talking about stress. I just did in a video, and I'm also talking about sleep, because without sleep, our body doesn't have time to repair and prepare for the next day. And it can be very destructive to our immune system if we're not paying attention to getting the best quality sleep we can get. So, how's everybody sleeping? Our goal should be 7 to 8 hours of sleep each night. And a lot of us aren't achieving that kind of sleep. During the day, in our brain, there's a lot of metabolic activity. We create these free radicals. They're kind of byproducts, destructive garbage in our brain that needs to be cleared out during the night. And these steps of sleep are REM, multiple stages of sleep that we have. We cycle throughout the night, are taking care of, getting rid of, mopping up kind of the garbage that was formed during the day. Our immune system has time to kind of recollect, refocus. And so when we're not sleeping enough, we're not getting that very important work done. So you start with health habits to regain good sleep. I would encourage you to, even in this pandemic, when you're watching TV at all hours, on no real schedule, I'd encourage you to set a schedule for sleep. You should be going to bed about the same time each night and making an effort to get up at the same time each morning, So that's 7 to 8 hours. Pick a time that works for you, but really then be consistent, because your circadian rhythm, that rhythm that sets it's time to be awake, it's time to be sleeping, that circadian rhythm really counts on that regularity of our going to sleep and waking up. So as an example, if you went to sleep at 9 o'clock one night, and then the next night you went to sleep at midnight, it would almost be like you had taken a trip to California and now you were on California time. So it's very confusing to our circadian rhythm and to our ability to fall and expect to be asleep. Okay, so that's the first thing. The other thing I would do is avoid a lot of high intensity exercise in the evening, because you're trying to come down, you're trying to kind of lighten the activity and start in with kind of a healthy sleep pattern, a restful pattern before you actually go to sleep. Just like when you had little kids, you get them ready for bed, you give them a bath, you get them ready, you might read them a book. There was a pattern, there was a sleep preparatory period that you always repeated the same things. And you should be thinking about that too. And it's not the time to do high intensity exercise that just reawakens your brain. Now, I would stop all caffeine after noon. Some of us genetically really don't break down caffeine very easily. I know I'm one of them. So if I drink caffeine after noon, it's just I won't have broken it all down by the time it's time to go to sleep. So a good rule of thumb, have your caffeine in the morning, but then stop at noon. Now, a big task we have at hand is trying to eliminate blue light. What does that mean? All screens emit a wavelength called blue light that really suppresses our ability to make our own melatonin when the sun goes down and it gets dark. So the normal pattern in our brain is that when it gets dark out, we start to release melatonin. And melatonin is a really interesting hormone that helps us be more responsive to the dark. It makes us more ready to go to sleep. It really doesn't put us asleep, but it's the dark that makes us go to sleep. But it gets us kind of ready to go to sleep. It also is an antioxidant. It's mopping up all those free radicals that we made during the day. It also helps bolster our immune system. So melatonin is a really important key player. But I've seen studies that are really fascinating. We should be making this melatonin as it gets dark. And for people who are sitting in front of blue screens, TVs, computers, phones, what happens is our melatonin level just stays flat. It never takes off. We never make melatonin in the evening. And we're really shorting ourselves a very valuable tool to keep us strong, to help our immune system. So I would eliminate blue light. I would, if you have an iPad or an iPhone, if you go into display and brightness, there is a setting called night shift. If you turn that on, it's filtering blue light. And so you can still work off those gizmos, the phone, and you're blocking the blue light. But TVs, unfortunately, are giving us a lot of blue light. So it would really serve us to start avoiding those things in the last 2 to 3 hours before we try to go to sleep. Now, there are on Amazon, you can buy glasses that filter blue light. You could try that too if you just really can't give up your Netflix in the evening. I kind of know that I have that trouble too. There's an interesting book that's been written by a doctor. He's a PhD doctor. It's called Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker. He is a researcher who runs a sleep lab in Berkeley, and he's really the real deal. He has written this book, and it really talks about importance. You know, sometimes when we're just told it's kind of an important thing to do, you know, we're too old to be told what to do anymore. But I think if you read that book and you recognize the power of sleep and what's happening during sleep and why we need sleep, I think then you'll choose to really make an effort to improve your sleep. He talks in the book about sleeping pills. Now, I know those of you who take sleeping pills think, oh yeah, I'm out, I sleep well, but you're really not sleeping. You're out, but you're not rolling through those cycles of sleep that have very purposeful functions. So he uses kind of the analogy that, you know, if you were bonked on the head and you lay unconscious on the floor for 8 hours, no one would believe that you were asleep. They would think you were out. And so that's what's happening when you're using a sleeping pill. So it's not easy if you've been on sleeping pills for a year, but I would love for you to read that book, learn a little bit more, and really start making an effort to improve your sleep. Now, there are some things that I think would be helpful for sleep. As we age, we really don't make as much melatonin, even if we're doing all the right things about eliminating the blue light. So melatonin, you could start with maybe 1 milligram, but the sky is the limit. I've even taken up to 60 milligrams at night and used it therapeutically. So feel free to increase the dosage of melatonin as you tolerate it. Now, I would say don't look for it to put you out. It's trying to set a little bit of that circadian rhythm. It's trying to mop up free radicals. But I know many patients of mine, when I say, have you tried melatonin for sleep? They say, oh, I tried it, it didn't work. It isn't a sleeping pill, but it is hormone replacement. It is something that you should have in your brain that will help set that circadian rhythm. And you might take it an hour before you go to sleep. If you find that when you take it in the morning you're too groggy, then I would say take it earlier in the evening. You know, in theory, you should be making that melatonin as the sun goes down. So you could take it even earlier in the evening if it helps you then not be too groggy in the morning. Another complaint, another thing that can happen for people is they can have crazy dreams through the night. If that happens, back off the dose. Just break it in half. Go lower, go slower. But I would encourage you to use melatonin. I personally don't have too much trouble sleeping, but I take melatonin for a therapeutic reason. I want to help improve the mopping up of free radicals in my brain, improving my immune system. Okay, so melatonin. Another substance is called GABA, G-A-B-A. And if you go on Amazon, you could Google GABA supplements. And a whole host of GABA-filled products will come up. So what is GABA? We have something in our brain called GABA receptors. And when those receptors are filled, they help us settle, be less anxious, be calmer. And so there are supplements, that will go in and help fill those GABA receptors. For women on hormone replacement that are taking progesterone, guess where the progesterone goes? To the GABA receptors. And that's why we give it at night, because it helps us sleep. It helps us settle. So I'd encourage you to think about GABA receptors. Another is this long word underneath called ashwagandha. It's a long word, ashwagandha. It's an herb that, again, helps us settle. Many people use it when they are adrenally fatigued. But again, it will help support our settling, our sleeping. You could even use it twice a day during periods of anxiety to just settle us. Ashwagandha. I think Gaia, G-A-I-A, Gaia makes a good ashwagandha. You could probably find it on Amazon. Those are 3 things that I think would be therapy towards help rebuilding your sleep. Not knocking you out, not making you unconscious, but helping restore quality sleep. So, Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker, a great read. And remember, we're trying to recreate good sleep habits because we want to eliminate a source of non-purposeful inflammation that is distracting our immune system from the job at hand, which is staying strong and ready to fight any infection that we get. I hope this has helped. I look forward to your comments. You can email us at Wellness First. You can put any comments down if we post this on Instagram, as we will. We look forward to hearing from you. Thanks.